Alright guys, so after that video, I sort of just realized that the crux and the final point I want to bring home right now is this one. I'm not going to do too much explaining. I'm not going to do too much, but if you're this type or you're that type or this context, because I really feel like this is what we need to do. And this is a hard one for all of us, but this would change the world, literally change the world. And this is a Jesus quote. I'm talking from the big guy. I'm going back to him because this is what we need right now. And maybe we always needed it, but especially right now. So, love thy enemy. It's one of the most beautiful, poignant, powerful statements ever made. But yet it gets so completely, utterly, 100% lost by everyone. Isn't that funny? The most powerful statement that could be made, that could change the way we think about handling difficult situations and could have literally freed the world if we all were brought up to practice this. Well, there would have been no order out of chaos. So I'm going to tell you right now, you want to break the order out of chaos in an essential way? It's love thy enemy. Right? That's why. Jesus said it, but that's why no one thinks it. Well, that's why no one promotes it. Because it's difficult. But it's only difficult because we have never been shown how to do it. So we must do it ourselves. So love thy enemy. Why love thy enemy? If they're my enemy, that means that they don't like me, and I don't like them. Well, that's what you think. That's what you've been led to believe. That's what you've been led to believe is the situation. That doesn't have to be. Love is bountiful and ever giving. If you have a person who hates you, then they lack love. That is important. If you have a person who hates you, then they lack love. And if you hate them, then you lack love. And both people have the power to restore their own love. Okay? So it's fear, really, and you're lacking love. Now, let's suppose this person is more your enemy, and you more don't like them because you feel that they are always coming after you. Right? Don't allow them to drain your love for nothing, because that's what they do. See, when you have an enemy and they're coming after you and they're causing you to feel angry and hateful, that's draining your love. But they're not even draining your love to turn it into their own love. They're draining your love and just leaving fear. Because that's what they know. So that you too become an enemy. They want an enemy. And on some level, if you're enemies with someone, you want to be their enemy until you know better. Instead, love them. Be graceful with them. Bless them. That's important. When it says love, it doesn't mean you go up and give them a hug every day, unless you think that will work. But when they come up to you and say something nasty, you don't respond with hate or anger. You laugh, you ignore it, you say, "How are you? What's wrong? How can I help you?" You're graceful. You don't give in to it. You bless them. Bless them at night. They are your enemy because of any absence of love which you can provide. Love is ever giving. Okay, so love is ever giving. You can always give more and more love. It can't be wasted. It's not wasted on a mean person. In fact, that's what we should be using it for as well. To treat the mean is a total wrong way of doing it because it just perpetuates them. They need to know love. Show them how to love, even in the face of adversity. They may never have learned this. That's important. You have to remember, some people have not learned how to love. Some really mean people, they're not just mean by choice. They're mean because of their environment. They were never taught how to properly love. And so they really can't. They need to be taught. So if they start with you and they become your enemy and you feed into that, you're really letting them just teach you how to be hateful. You have to take control of that in a benevolent way, not a power play way, a benevolent way, and say, listen, these people need love. They don't need me striking back. They need love. And they're probably, although they want to feel anger, because that's what they know, in another sense, in a deeper sense, they are searching for what they never had. Teach them love. Teach people who use hate that just because you use hate doesn't mean love is gone. Love is still an option if you want it. So, if you love your enemy, it can easily take away their power to hate, but they can come to love if they want. If you really love your enemy and you don't give them any satisfaction in the negative energy category, more than likely, it'll take away that ability to hate you because the energy is just different. It's just not matching. So they're not going to spend their time hating you anymore. In fact, they'll probably be confused, but they'll know that they can come to love if they want. You will show them that love is still there, even when they act that way. Love still is there for them. Love still loves them. We are still here for each other with compassion. Like order out of control. This neutralizes chaos. This is the ultimate way for order out of control to be stopped is love thy enemy. This neutralizes it. And I should have said this before. So if you want a quick way of understanding how to neutralize order out of control, you love thy enemy. But they will never tell you that. The powers that be. You will never hear that. And you will never hear that from different social groups like feminists or white supremacists. You know what I'm saying? Or even LGBTQ. See, that's where it's lost. These are the people who need to love their enemy. You love yourself. But if you love yourself, you can love your enemy. You are rewarded internally so much at a spiritual level. It is a kind of enlightenment. Now, of course it would feel this way, but why? Because if you can do this, you are not at the mercy of someone else's storm or rage, and you break the perpetuation that fighting, warring, and conflict is a norm. Love can be used for anyone and anything. This will shift the whole reality dynamic structure. This is true. This is what I had said in another video, and it's so true. Our world is the way it is because of our perception and how we act in it. That is all. Our world is the way it is because of our perception of it and then the way we act in it. So, if you can love your enemy, that changes the whole game because now your perception of them is different. You love them. You understand them. You feel for them. You don't hate them. And you act accordingly. And then you break that energetic perception, that perpetuates fighting and war and conflict as a norm, right? Because it is considered a norm. We don't love, we don't understand, we fight. You show that love can be used for anything, that loving another person for them being just a human like you is not fluff. See, it's only fluff because we need to learn to love our enemies. See what I'm saying? People say it's fluff because they don't get that yet. They don't get this as possible. But this is possible. This is the way. And it will shift the whole reality dynamic structure. And this is very important. And this is a deeper aspect, but this is so true. We are each other on a deep level of consciousness and metaphysics. We are each other. You are your enemy, and your enemy is you. You are your enemy, and your enemy is you. And at one point, you might be someone's enemy. And there might be someone who has the choice to hate you or choose to love you. So be kind to yourselves. Do you see what I mean? We are each other, so be kind to yourself, because then you're kind to that other person. It's the collective consciousness. Be kind to it. Change that vibration. Don't be self-loathing and hateful. To hate them is to hate yourself, because you're just putting yourself through hate. It means that you want to feel hate. Importantly, you free yourself. And this is what I consider love to be. Love is acceptance with a little bit of insight. You understand them and even feel compassion for them. Because if you can love them, then you can accept them for who they are, even if they are hateful, and you can have a little bit of insight into why they're that way. And then you free yourself. And you free them. You free them from any hate you would have felt, because they're dealing with their own demons, not just you. You show that you can always be good. You may just free them too. You maintain your power while giving them the power to choose love or hate. See, that's the whole thing. It's not a power play. To choose love is to maintain your own power. But that's also to give them the choice to choose love as well. Or if they want to go on and keep hating you, they have that choice too. So no one is blocked off from what is supposed to happen. So let them make their choice. I bet you, most of the time, they will be your enemy no more. You allow them to make amends. You allow the situation to come to a halt. You allow it to go away. You are one of the people changing the world. You don't reinforce any negative, only positive. This can be done. Compassion. Your compassion often breeds a snowball effect of compassion in them. It is better to have love than hate. You showing them love, even when they hate you, will usually create a snowball effect. And they will remember that. Because people are complicated. And yes, some people might want to hate, but a lot of people want to be loved and hate because they are insecure or because they are angry and they are confused about something you've done. And they think that perhaps you are out to get them. Once they see that you are only here to love and accept them, that'll be gone. So that was brief, but I just thought I would end it with that because that is the crux of it. And it's something we all have to work on. Love thy enemy. Love thy neighbor. Love thyself. But most importantly, love thy enemy. It's easy to love your friends. It's easy to love someone who you may perceive as less fortunate than you. It's easy, sometimes, hopefully, to come to love yourself, That can be a struggle. That's a whole other story. But what the hardest thing is to love an enemy. It's very difficult. But it's only difficult because we've never been taught how to do it. Because we're taught that the things they say, the nasty things that are said, are so powerful when they're just words. They're only words. So when you realize this person is just using words and hurting themselves, you block it off and you love them. And when I say that, I mean you say hello to them. You don't totally ignore them. You treat them well. You ask them how they're doing. You bless them at night. You try to understand why they're acting this way. And that's how you really can make progress with people. That's how you can really stop issues. Communicate. And if someone does not want to communicate and they do not like you, and you know what? Then you just kindly back off. And that doesn't mean you stop loving them, because love is acceptance with a little insight. And you see that this person wants it that way. Loving your enemy does not mean they're going to say, "Oh my God, you handle that so well. You are so perfect and filled with love and a great person." Don't expect to hear that all the time or even ever. This isn't about you getting a pat on the back from them. This is something much deeper. And they will be affected by it. And even if they're only affected because they remained miserable but did not goad you into becoming like them, then that is one more way that they were brought towards love and away from hate and fear. That's one more way. And you may run into that with people who are fear-based, and all you can do is love. Why become fearful and hateful? Love thy enemy. I'd like to give examples. I won't. I think everyone knows who I'm talking about. It could be a personal enemy. It could be a stereotype of people who you feel that even though they have not personally wronged you, you look at and think that they're all bad. Try to love them. Try to see them for what they are. Don't give them the power of being afraid and hateful. You lift yourself up by loving. You lift yourself up by loving. Because then you love yourself, you respect yourself, you care for yourself, and you want the best for yourself and others. You hold yourself down by being in fear and hate. And even though you might have mountains to climb and you might be at a lower socioeconomic status and have more work to do, right? And you have all the disadvantage, there will be one thing that separates you from becoming successful and happy, and the other person who is in the same boat becoming a miserable old man. And that will be that you are of a place of love and they're in a place of fear. So there you go. This is integral. That will be the difference. Two poor people, same resources, not many, right? Same family lives. I'm saying it's all the same. One is of love, one is of fear. The one of love becomes happy, most likely. They don't see the world as all against them. They're educated about people, but they understand that because they come from a place of love, most others do too. The one who comes from fear sees that the world is a scary place where hate is how you get by because it's dangerous. And they resent others. And they resent others because they don't know love. and then they perpetuate that in others. So at the end of the day, people can say what they want and they can want what they say. But if you can love, then you will be okay. So to end that, love thy neighbor, and that is a new theme for 2018, a new sub-theme. It is love thy enemy. Love thy enemy. Just like with Trump. And my manager was saying a great thing about him the other day. She was saying, listen, I don't necessarily like the guy. She goes, but we as a country should try to be behind our president and help him and want him to be successful and do the right thing. And in her essence, she was right. People view him as an enemy. Okay? That has not helped anything at all. That has only perpetuated this conflict. Right? Because now people are coming from a place of fear. And they perpetuate that all across the board. But if we all came from a place of love and acceptance and said, listen, we don't really know this man. We don't. Let's support him and see what he can offer and make suggestions. Then at least we would have given him a fair shot and we would have put in a good energy for the whole situation. Right? That's the big difference. And then if you're proven wrong, you're proven wrong. But that's, and not that the president does much anyway. But do you know what I'm saying? She was right. People are trained to hate their enemy and to want their enemy to fail. Even if their enemy is the president, they want them to fail and not succeed. And these are the people who voted for Hillary, who, if you voted for Hillary, you most likely believe the mainstream narrative and that the president holds a lot of power. These are the people that when Hillary lost, cried and cried and despaired and needed safe spaces. And maybe there was reason. I know he said some pretty bad things. And I wonder sometimes how I can be so nonchalant, but I think it's because I know that Hillary was bad, just as bad. She just knew what to say. Trump just says it. He's what this country needed, because he just is what it is. And it's not pretty. And people would rather have a fake in office than a total lunatic. Either a fake lunatic or a total lunatic. They'd rather have the fake lunatic. Because they can fake love. If we all loved our enemy, this would all be gone. And we would all do it if we were taught to do it. People say, how could that be? Well, because you're taught. It's how you're taught to be. We are taught to be warlike. We are taught to be conflictual. And so we are stuck in a perpetual state of conflict and depression. And now it's 2018, and it's time to change all that, because even I go right back to that. It is time to love thy enemy, because we are all one. And if you're loving your enemy, you're loving yourself. And if you're hating your enemy, you're hating yourself. Okay? Thank you so much.